This is a worm, and this is also a worm. One lives in your garden, eating dead leaves and waiting to be picked off by birds. The other lives in the ocean and can grow longer than a bus, inject venom through glass-like needles, or snap a fish in half like a bear trap buried in the sand. Same basic body plan, same evolutionary roots. So why did the ocean turn worms into monsters? And what exactly are they defending themselves against down there that earthworms never had to face? On land, worms are about as threatening as a soggy shoelace. They wriggle through dirt, they eat rotting leaves. Their greatest enemy is dehydration. If the sidewalk gets too hot, they dry out and die. If it rains too much, birds show up. That's it. It's a humble existence. But take that same worm blueprint, stretch it into the ocean, and something changes. In the sea, worms don't just survive. They hunt. They inject venom. They ambush fish. They dissolve whale bones. They grow longer than whales themselves. The ocean didn't just make worms bigger, it made them violent. And to understand why, we need to start with the most infamous one of all. The bobbit worm, Eunice aphroditoa, up to 10 feet long. But you almost never see it, because 95% of its body is buried underground. All you see are 5 antennae protruding from the sand. Motion sensors. If something swims too close, it strikes. Not slowly, not cautiously. Instantly, its jaws snap shut with enough force to slice fish clean in half. It doesn't even know what it's grabbing. Bobbit worms don't really have proper eyes. They have light-sensitive organs. If it moves, it bites. That's the strategy. After striking, it drags prey into its burrow. If it can't drag it fully, it tears off a chunk. Sometimes it succeeds in pulling down entire fish, even pufferfish, which raises a strange question. Pufferfish are toxic. Shouldn't that kill the worm? Sometimes it might. But if the worm strikes fast enough, if it bites a section without concentrated toxin, if the fish doesn't inflate in time, the worm wins. The ocean rewards speed and unpredictability. Now compare that to an earthworm. An earthworm's job is simple. Eat decomposing organic matter, aerate soil, avoid birds. They don't need jaws. They don't need venom. They don't need to ambush anything, because on land, dead plant material is everywhere. Leaves fall constantly. Competition is minimal, and gravity makes size expensive. If an earthworm tried to grow 10 feet long, it would collapse under its own weight. It would be a floppy noodle on the ground, unable to move, unable to support itself. Water changes that. In the ocean, buoyancy supports body weight. The water lifts you. That means worms can grow massive without collapsing. Thick muscles, heavy jaws, armored segments, all supported by water. Gravity is still there but softened. It's the same reason whales can exist in the ocean but not on land. The environment removes the limit. And when physical limits are removed, evolution experiments. But size isn't the only direction aquatic worms went. Some chose poison. The bearded fireworm, bright, colorful, almost pretty, white bristles lining its body like soft fur. It looks harmless, inviting, even do not touch it. Those white bristles are hollow needles, called cheetah, filled with neurotoxin. Brush against them and they snap off inside your skin. The venom spreads immediately. Burning pain, nausea, dizziness, for days. On land, worms don't need warning coloration. They're decomposers. They're not advertising toxicity. But in a coral reef, everything is trying to eat everything else. If you are soft, slow, and edible, need a deterrent. Bright colors say, try it, see what happens. The reef is crowded. It's competitive. It's violent. Being a squishy tube isn't enough, so aquatic worms either became weapons or warnings. But then there are the worms that didn't just grow bigger, they grew longer. The ribbon worms. One species, the bootlace worm, has been measured at over 180 feet long. That's longer than a blue whale. Longer than most dinosaurs. But here's the twist. It weighs about 2 pounds. It's thin, incredibly thin. Why evolve that length? Because ribbon worms don't have lungs. They don't have gills. They breathe entirely through their skin. More surface area equals more oxygen absorption. Stretching into a massive ribbon maximizes contact with water. It's turning your entire body into a lung. And there's another advantage. You don't have to chase prey. You are everywhere. You stretch across rocks and crevices like a living tripwire. If something touches you deploy your proboscis, a muscular inside-out structure that shoots outward, sticky, sometimes acidic. It entangles prey. It looks like the worm is vomiting a web. Grotesque. Effective length is cheap. Evolutionarily speaking, adding thickness requires muscle, tissue, energy. Adding length requires stretching the blueprint. So some worms chose length over bulk. Same body plan, different optimization. But the ocean didn't stop there. In the darkest depths, near hydrothermal vent forms, became something else entirely. The giant tube worms, 8 feet tall, clustered like alien forests. No mouth, no stomach, no eyes, no exit. They are sealed systems. Inside them is a specialized organ called a trophosome, packed with billions of symbiotic bacteria. The vents release hydrogen sulfide, chemical toxic to most life. The worms absorb it, feed it to the bacteria. The bacteria convert poison into sugar. Chemosynthesis. Instead of sunlight, they use volcanic chemistry. They farm microbes inside their own bodies. They don't hunt, they don't chew, they don't digest. They outsource existence. And because they don't waste energy searching for food, they grow fast. Nearly 3 feet in a single year, the fastest growing marine invertebrates known. The ocean didn't turn them into predators. It turned them into biological reactors. And then there are the most disturbing of all, the zombie worms or sea ducks. They arrive after a whale falls, when flesh is gone, when only skeleton remains. They have no mouth, no stomach. They grow root-like tendrils that burrow into bone. They secrete acid, dissolve calcium, extract fats trapped inside the skeleton. They drink the whale through their roots. Their males never grow up. They remain microscopic, living inside the females. Dozens of them. Their only purpose is fertilization. They never leave, never mature, never hunt. This lifestyle only exists because the ocean allows it, because whale falls are rare but massive, because currents distribute larvae across vast distances. On land, you can't drift for months hoping to land on a whale skeleton. Wind doesn't work that way. Water does. The ocean enables strategies impossible on land. But this all comes back to one question. Why do worms become monsters in the water but not on land? It's three main reasons. First, gravity. Water supports mass. You can grow larger without structural collapse. Second, energy density. A single fish is worth more than acres of decomposing leaves. In the ocean, high-calorie prey exists. Predation becomes profitable. Third, competition. Coral reefs and deep-sea vents are battlegrounds. Armor, venom, ambush. Everything is specialized. On land, earthworms fill a safe niche. Decomposer, low conflict, high abundance. They don't need to evolve weapons. The ocean offers opportunity, but only if you can survive the violence. So worms adapted. They grew jaws. They grew toxins. They grew length. They grew symbiotic organs. They grew roots that dissolve bone. They became bear traps, needle injectors, living nets, volcanic chemists. But notice something. None of them are apex predators. Even the bobbit worm hides. Even the fireworm advertises toxicity. Even the ribbon worm relies on mucus and acidity. Even tube worms outsource feeding. The ocean made them dangerous because everything else is also dangerous. Violence scales with environment. In soil, calm works. In coral reefs.com dies. And that's the final truth. Worms didn't become monsters because they wanted to. They became monsters because the ocean demanded it. Land allows softness. Water rewards specialization. On land, worms recycle death. In the ocean, sometimes they create it. And if there's one comfort to all of this, it's that we live on land, where the worst thing a worm can do is dry out on the sidewalk. Thanks for watching.